Welcome to Mosaic Arts Online. I'm Anne-Marie Price. In this course I will be teaching how to mosaic a surfboard. This is one of my favorite types of mosaic to create. I will give you many tips and tricks on how to create this surfboard, starting with why a surfboard and where to find them. Next I will go over how to clean and prep the board, especially if you find one with wax and other parts that need to be removed. Once your board is clean and ready, I will show you how to pick your stained glass palette. You can create a mosaic surfboard with other kinds of tesserae, but I love to work with stained glass. I will share with you my cutting techniques, including how to easily cut circles, flowers, and my version of crazy paving. Using my favorite adhesive, you will watch me work in real time, making cutting and placing decisions for part of the surfboard. Once the mosaic part is complete, I will give you my step-by-step process for grouting with Mosaic CQ Flex Color epoxy grout. Epoxy grout is not as difficult to work with as you might think, and you are left with a beautiful finished look that will last a lifetime. In the next section is a PDF with all the tools and materials and resources, so let's get started.
Anne-Marie, thank you so much for coming to Mosaic Arts Online. You have brought one of my favorite courses. You know I've been asking for a while on this one.
Well, thank you for having me here. I appreciate it.
Oh, I'm so glad. And this is a very ambitious project, mostly about size and working in our studio, but also what she had to accomplish in our shooting schedule. So we are so grateful that she's here with this completely completed surfboard, and you see a lot of it happen on camera. But before we go into that, let's talk more about why the surfboard and where that all came from.
Well, last year I was invited to submit a design for a Surfboards on Parade in Huntington Beach, California. I had never created a surfboard before, so this was very ambitious of me.
Yeah.
And they had to choose the artist for this project, so I didn't even think I was going to get in at all, and suddenly I got the email that I was chosen, one of the chosen artists. So I jumped in, and a shaper made a board for me to work on, so it was a little different situation.
Yeah, for sure.
But I created a piece that celebrated women surfers, and it ended up being chosen for People's Choice,
yes,
which was also a surprise. And that was my start into working on surfboards. And after I finished that one, I couldn't wait to do another one. So that's what I did.
What a gateway. But now getting a surfboard, I know for those of us in California or people on coasts, Australia, different places like that, it's not as hard. But if, let's say, you didn't want to do a surfboard or you really couldn't get one, would these techniques work for like a guitar or some other sort of substrate like that?
Absolutely. And I've seen people do mosaic guitars and other substrate where you're able to sand it down and be able to adhere glass or ceramics or whatever your tesserae of choice is. But absolutely it can be used on other substrates. So. And
you also said that even though you use all the materials on the surfboard could be waterproof and outside, you have a feeling that these really should be displayed interior. And why is that?
Well, I know how surfboards age. I know how they age outside. So I think with this particular substrate, it's better to have it indoors. And why not? Why not have a focal point in your home with this beautiful surfboard with glass on it? And I just think it's better to do it that way. So.
And you can find surfboards like garage sales. We talk about this in the course, but garage sales, I mean, anything from going to a shop and finding an older one that maybe isn't going to go back in the water, or garage sales, eBay, Etsy, those kinds of places. But now, you know, you have your surfboard. What would you describe as like the process? You really just like kind of break it down a little bit more for us here.
Well, me personally, the board that I did in this video is one that was given to me. Somebody had it in their garage.
That's perfect.
And they were ready to throw it out, and so I said, I'll take it. And there was a few dings on it that I needed to fix, but it's very easy to do.
But that makes it still usable,
right? Absolutely. And it wasn't too beat up. I would prefer the board I did prior to this, I bought from a shop, so it was already cleaned up and prepped, and there was nothing for me to do. The wax was removed, so So I do suggest, you know, buying a board from a shop, but if you're not in an area where
Right.
there's shops and there's surfing going on, I mean, it's...
And then it was basically just pick the glass that you wanted to use and go from there. And it's really, you're seeing everything that is used in the course is right here with the materials that she uses. So it's so doable. It's so achievable. Beginners, like the way you break it down, a beginner that's learning to cut stained glass, once they get a little more practice with cutting stained glass, could totally achieve this, don't you think?
Absolutely. And I mean, I do encourage people to, you know, learn the art of mosaic too on maybe smaller pieces to begin
Sure.
with. But this is absolutely something that's doable and a step up from, you know, where you start doing smaller mosaics. And so, yeah, absolutely, you know. And especially because I use crazy paving, this
Yes.
is a more easier andamento for beginners
Yes.
and stuff to, you know, be able to practice and
you
complete
teach
something.
how to do the flowers within this andamento
Yes.
and how it's kind of just hidden within the same color glass. There's so much information and such a rich class, and how much time you get to watch Anne-Marie work in real time is truly magical. So I cannot thank you enough for coming and doing this course and sharing with us, finally, the how to mosaic a surfboard from the woman that knows how to do it.
Well, thank you again for inviting me to do this. It's been a pleasure, and it is something I really enjoy doing. So,
Well, we're glad to have you.
okay.